It's a glittering audience, and the bond that they share is that they love music.
In the film, Clive Davis, The Soundtrack of Our Lives, the New York native shared that he originally dreamed of becoming an attorney.
Clive Davis has long been regarded as one of the most influential figures in the music industry. For more than 5 decades, he shaped careers, discovered talent, and wielded enormous power behind the scenes. His name became synonymous with success, and his reputation seemed almost untouchable. However, in recent years, various allegations and rumors have surfaced that paint a very different picture of the legendary executive. These claims have sparked intense debate and raised uncomfortable questions about the inner workings of the music industry, the nature of power, and how influence has been used to protect certain individuals while leaving others vulnerable. The complexity of these allegations cannot be understated, as they touch on issues of morality, justice, and accountability within one of the world's most powerful industries. Over the past several years, a series of conspiracy theories and allegations have emerged regarding Clive Davis and his connections to various figures in hip-hop and rap music. According to various sources and individuals who have publicly shared their accounts, there are claims that Davis was involved in meetings and discussions that shaped the trajectory of rap music in ways that extended far beyond artistic merit or creative expression. These allegations suggest that business interests, corporate power, and strategic decision-making may have influenced the content and messaging of music in ways that affected millions of listeners, particularly young people. While these claims remain highly controversial and lack comprehensive legal substantiation, they have nonetheless persisted in public discourse, drawing the attention of those interested in industry corruption and the potential manipulation of culture. One of the most significant and widely circulated claims concerns an alleged secret meeting that supposedly took place at Davis's mansion in Beverly Hills during 1995. According to accounts shared by various individuals, including radio host Larry Gators, this gathering brought together rappers from across the country alongside individuals allegedly connected to government agencies and private prison corporations. The narrative suggests that during this meeting, artists received guidance to create more confrontational music, to use language degrading toward black women, and to promote the lifestyle and messages associated with gangster rap. The underlying suggestion in these accounts is deeply troubling, that these directives were issued to serve the interests of private prison companies, which could theoretically benefit from increased incarceration rates among the demographic most likely to consume this music. While Clive Davis's representatives have strenuously denied these allegations, calling them completely false, the persistence of these claims and the emergence of similar accounts from multiple sources have kept the conversation alive. The allegations gained renewed momentum when an anonymous letter appeared online in 2012, describing remarkably similar circumstances. The author of this letter claimed to have witnessed powerful business leaders instructing record executives to push gangster rap further, to promote specific lifestyles, and to influence young audiences in ways that could ultimately benefit the private prison industry. The author did not identify themselves, which meant that these claims could not be independently verified or cross-referenced with other reliable sources. Nevertheless, the letter circulated widely throughout internet communities focused on industry corruption, alternative history, and systemic injustice. For many people, the fact that 2 separate accounts described essentially the same scenario, despite coming from different sources, seemed to lend credibility to the allegations, even though no concrete evidence has ever emerged to prove either account. What makes these allegations particularly complicated is the context in which they emerge. The United States has indeed struggled with mass incarceration, and private prisons have been a significant part of that system. The demographics of incarceration in America do show that young black men are disproportionately represented in the criminal justice system. Hip-hop and rap music, while artistically legitimate and culturally significant, have also contained imagery and messaging focused on violence, criminality, and gang activity. These facts create a space where a narrative of intentional manipulation becomes superficially plausible, even without evidence. The concern that corporate interests might seek to profit from behaviors encouraged by media is not entirely unreasonable. Yet in this case, the specific allegations about Clive Davis and a secret meeting remain unproven. The financial decisions Clive Davis made during the early 1990s have also drawn scrutiny and speculation. When Sean Combs, known as Diddy, left Uptown Records, Davis reportedly provided him with $15 million to establish Bad Boy Records. In the early 1990s, this represented an extraordinary sum of money, equivalent to approximately $40 million in today's currency. While Davis later explained that he believed hip-hop was destined to become a worldwide force, and that Combs had made a compelling case for the investment, many industry observers found the amount extraordinary for someone who had never previously run a record label, had not personally produced major hit records, and was known for being difficult to work with. The investment proved wildly successful, with Bad Boy Records becoming one of the most dominant forces in hip-hop, producing megastars like Biggie Smalls, and contributing significantly to the shaping of 90s rap music. Some commentators and critics have suggested that this massive financial commitment, made at precisely the time when the alleged secret meeting supposedly occurred, may not be coincidental. Rather, they propose that the investment might have been connected to a larger strategic plan to shape hip-hop music and culture in a specific direction. However, it is important to note that Davis and his representatives have not been charged with any wrongdoing in relation to this investment, and the investment itself could simply be understood as shrewd business sense combined with faith in a talented individual. Without concrete evidence linking the investment to any alleged conspiracy, this remains speculation, albeit speculation that has proven persistent and compelling to many observers. Another thread in this complex narrative involves the City College of New York in 1991. Sean Combs organized a charity basketball event that, according to reports, suffered from inadequate planning and insufficient security for the number of attendees. A stampede occurred, resulting in 9 people being injured. In many industries, particularly entertainment, such an incident could have derailed or significantly delayed a career. A person responsible for such a dangerous event might have faced public boycotts, industry blacklisting, or at minimum, a period of reduced visibility and opportunity. Yet Combs's career trajectory did not slow. By 1993, merely 2 years after this incident, Clive Davis was providing him with his massive financial investment. To critics examining the pattern, this sequence of events suggests that serious setbacks did not have lasting consequences for those with sufficient connections and influence. The implication is that the entertainment industry may operate according to different rules for different people, and that power and connections can insulate certain individuals from consequences that others would face. Additional allegations against Combs come from individuals within the media industry itself. Daniel Smith, an editor at Vibe magazine, has claimed that Combs once threatened legal action against her in response to her refusal to show him magazine cover photos before they were published. According to her account, this incident occurred during the 1990s, and she has stated that it caused her lasting emotional distress. Yet despite this incident, Combs faced no serious legal repercussions, and his career continued uninterrupted. Stories like these have contributed to a narrative that some critics have constructed, suggesting that whenever Combs encountered situations that could have resulted in serious professional or legal consequences, something always intervened to prevent those consequences from fully materializing. Whether through industry support, favorable legal outcomes, or strategic business moves, the pattern suggests a system of protection that extended to select individuals based on their value to the industry. The role of other major music industry figures has also come into question. Suge Knight, currently serving a 28-year prison sentence for voluntary manslaughter, has made various public statements from prison regarding the operations of the music industry. While Knight's credibility is heavily compromised by his own criminal history and his long-standing bitter conflicts with Combs and others in the industry, he has nonetheless claimed knowledge of hidden recordings and tapes involving powerful figures in music beyond Combs alone. Knight suggests that people higher in the industry hierarchy may have engaged in similar behaviors to those Combs was accused of, and that the industry protected these individuals. Whether or not Knight's claims have merit, the fact that they continue to surface, and that mainstream media occasionally reports on them indicates that questions about industry corruption remain part of public conversation. Knight has also made allegations about what he refers to as an egg test, describing it as an informal initiation that aspiring or young artists allegedly underwent, involving humiliating or degrading physical situations, as a condition for being accepted into the industry. According to Knight's account, this practice was not entirely secret, but rather an open secret that many people were aware of but unwilling to discuss publicly. He has named Clive Davis as someone who allegedly knew about and enabled these practices to continue. Davis's representatives have categorically rejected these claims as false and have attributed them to Knight's personal resentment and criminal background. The credibility question remains central. Can statements made by an imprisoned felon with clear motivations for revenge be taken seriously? Yet simultaneously, dismissing all claims made by compromised witnesses can also result in genuine abuses going unexamined. What is perhaps most striking to many observers is the relative silence with which major record labels and music corporations have responded to these various allegations. Universal Music Group and Interscope Records, two of the most powerful entities in the industry, have not issued strong, detailed public denials of the claims made by Knight or others. Instead, they have largely maintained quiet, which some interpret as a strategy of waiting for controversies to fade from public attention. However, this silence has arguably had the opposite effect. Rather than diminishing public interest in these allegations, the lack of vigorous public response has seemingly intensified speculation and curiosity. When organizations choose not to engage directly with serious allegations, observers sometimes interpret that silence as tacit acknowledgement or an indication that the organization would prefer not to bring further attention to the issues. The absence of a strong institutional response has allowed these narratives to persist and even grow. Clive Davis himself received significant public recognition in June 2025 when he was awarded the Apollo Theater's Legacy Award, an honor presented at a major benefit event in New York City. At this ceremony, prominent artists performed in his honor, and he was celebrated for his decades of contributions to music and for his work helping artists overcome addiction, career difficulties, and personal challenges. The ceremony represented an official statement from a major cultural institution validating Davis's legacy and contributions. However, this same month also saw Diddy remaining in custody at MDC Brooklyn, a federal facility that has faced criticism regarding its conditions and management. The stark contrast between Davis receiving public accolades and honors while his former protege sat in a federal prison cell created a striking visual and symbolic statement that has not gone unnoticed by observers and media commentators. The question of whether Diddy might cooperate with federal investigators has also attracted significant attention. His attorney, Mark Agnifilo, has publicly stated that Diddy is eager to testify and may be difficult to keep off the witness stand. Such statements are noteworthy because they suggest that Combs may be willing to provide testimony about events and people in the music industry over several decades. If Combs were to cooperate and provide information to federal prosecutors, he would have the ability to speak about meetings, business dealings, and interactions with powerful figures in the industry that he witnessed or participated in. Given his high-level position in hip-hop and his close proximity to major decision-makers in business dealings, his testimony could potentially shed light on practices and decisions that have remained opaque to the public. However, as of now, any cooperation remains speculation, and no official cooperation agreements have been publicly announced. The lasting question that emerges from all of these various allegations, rumors, and controversies is fundamentally about power and accountability. Did powerful figures in the music industry make strategic decisions that shaped rap and hip-hop music in ways influenced by business interests beyond artistic merit? Were young artists and audiences manipulated through calculated cultural messaging? Did certain individuals receive protection and opportunities despite behavior that would have derailed others' careers? These are serious questions that deserve serious examination. However, it is equally important to distinguish between allegations and proven facts, between credible evidence and speculation, and between patterns that might suggest misconduct and definitive proof of wrongdoing. The truth about what happened inside the music industry remains complex, multifaceted, and not fully known. What is certain is that public interest in these questions shows no sign of diminishing, and the conversations about power, accountability, and justice within the entertainment industry will continue to evolve as more information emerges, and as future legal developments potentially provide answers to questions that have persisted for decades. Like, subscribe, and follow for more.